Oh, hey guys, I'm David. Look, have you ever been in a situation so ridiculous that you couldn't believe it was happening? Let me tell you my experience. So listen, my friend is getting married to my mother. I'm 18 and I just started attending a very prestigious university. My mother teaches economics there, and I was hiding the fact that she was my mum so no one would think she's biased towards me. I also have to say that she doesn't look like an average teacher. She's beautiful and very attractive, and she's 36 years old, but she looks younger. So, as you can imagine, I constantly hear from my classmates that they want to ask her out. I understood that they were just messing around, but my good friend Mike looked like he was crushing on her hard. He talked about her all the time. I tried saying stuff like, "Come on, she's a teacher," or "She's too old for you, buddy," but he wouldn't listen to me at all. He always tried to talk with her in the hallway and stayed after periods to ask her questions about economics. Of course, it all looked very silly. Besides, my mother is a decent woman and she has great taste in men. One evening, my mum was going on a date and I thought it'd be a great idea to invite Mike to hang out and play on the Xbox. I called him, but he didn't answer. Okay, I'll just watch a movie by myself, I thought. 5 minutes later, someone rang the doorbell. Mum shouted from the bathroom, "Open the door! I'm not ready yet." And you can imagine my surprise when I opened the door and I saw Mike standing there with a bouquet of flowers. I was shocked. I literally couldn't say a word. I was so surprised. Then my mother came and introduced us. "This is Mike. Mike, this is my son David. You already know each other." We shook hands awkwardly. Mum kissed me and they left for their date. I stood there for a few more minutes in complete confusion. Mum's dating Mike. What? How could this even happen? I waited up a long time for my mother. She came home late. I immediately began to say, "You can't date him, Mum. He's my classmate. He's 20 years younger than you." She didn't like what I said. She answered me with irritation. First of all, he's 18 years younger than me. And second, I can date who I want. That was the end of the conversation. Maybe I don't have the right to tell her who she can date. But this is just nonsense. Mum is dating my friend. Okay, my mother won't listen to me, but I can talk to Mike and explain to him why this is wrong. So I decided to talk to him during class the next day. That very next day, I was walking down the hall on the way to class, and I saw Mike surrounded by our classmates. He was telling them something, and the guys were laughing out loud. I immediately understood that he was telling them about my mother. I got so angry. I ran up to him and I was gonna punch him in the face, but the guys pulled me away immediately. So I just shouted, "How dare you tell the others about her?" And then I screamed at him with words I'd rather not repeat. He seemed so confused. It turned out he didn't say anything about my mother, and this whole situation was just a misunderstanding. Either way, my friendship with Mike was over. Soon afterwards, my mum found out about the fight, and we had a very serious conversation. From that moment on, our relationship became pretty complicated. And on the contrary, she and Mike became much closer. He used to come to our house for dinner. I literally couldn't stand it, and always tried to go for a walk or go to the movies. They even went on vacation together. All this time, Mike really annoyed me. I couldn't stand that my friend was dating my mum, and this has been my life for 6 months. In the late spring, my mum had a birthday. For the first time in a while, Mike spoke to me and asked me to help organize the birthday party. And of course, I agreed because I love my mother. And I was thinking that maybe after that, our relationship would get better. We thought it through. We invited our relatives, her friends, decorated the house, and prepared gifts. The party was going great, right up until Mike started to give a toast. He said that my mum was the best woman he'd ever met, and that he loves and appreciates her, blah blah blah, and other stuff like that. The usual words of congratulations. But then he got down on one knee, and I just froze. I thought, no way this is going to happen. But yeah, he proposed to her. There are no words to describe my emotions at that moment. In my mind, I was just yelling, "No, no, no, no." And Mum started crying and then shouted, "Yes, I will marry you." The crowd exploded with applause and congratulations. But I almost broke my glass out of anger. I won't let it happen. I won't let my friend marry my mother. For a whole week, they accepted congratulations on the engagement, and I spent the whole week thinking of a plan. I had to ruin their wedding. So I decided to write an anonymous complaint to the university about my mum. It stated that this teacher has a relationship with her student, which is a serious violation of teaching ethics. I was hoping that the administration would force her to break up with Mike, but their reaction was too strong. A few days later, my mother came home crying. She said that she was going to be fired if she kept up the relationship with Mike. I didn't expect the administration to be so tough. I thought they were just going to give her a warning, but firing was too much. I was so embarrassed that I framed my mum. But what else could I do? I covered up the fact that the person who wrote the letter was me. I was afraid my mum would just hate me for it. Soon Mike came over, and Mum told him everything. He got really serious and said he'd figure it out. I couldn't even imagine what he would come up with. After a few hours, he returned and said, "You can't get fired if you get married to someone who's not a student. So I'm dropping out of university." Whoa. I didn't think he'd resort to doing something like that. He was ready to sacrifice a prestigious degree for a relationship with my mother. That is very noble. It looks like Mike is a decent guy after all. He would clearly do anything for my mum, and I just behaved like a child and complained to the administration. So, which one of us truly loves her? Now I have a lot to think about. I want to make things right between us. So first of all, I'm going to confess that I made the complaint. It will be a difficult conversation, and it will take a long time, but I'll do anything to make her forgive me. It was all my fault. It wouldn't have happened if I just accepted my mum's choice in the first place. This is her life, and I have no right to stop her from being happy. Do you think my mum will forgive me? Can I be good friends with Mike after this? Write what you think in the comments below, and subscribe to the channel to see more interesting stories.